welcome back to another monthly wrap-up video. I think I've been doing this 3 months now, which is just basically a kind of sit down, chatty, catch up, reflecting on my month of writing, reading, all the things, and telling you about what has gone on in the past month. I feel like a little bit out of sorts doing this video, partly because I haven't filmed in a while, because I have been struck down with the plague. Not really. I have been sick, and this is kind of the first day that I felt, well enough to get back to doing multiple things in a day. Like yesterday, I did manage to do one thing on my list, but I only partially did it, and then I kind of had to give up after 3 hours. So this is the first day that I've kind of felt back to able to doing my full day of activities, minus working out. I'm not gonna try today because I'm still a bit congested. You might be able to hear that, you might not. I honestly, I don't know what this is gonna sound like, but hopefully you can tolerate it. So yeah, May is over. It is June. That feels weird. And May was a bit of a weird in-between month for my writing. What I mean by that is, for the first 2/3 of the month, I was pushing to get the draft of my third novel, the first draft of my third novel, High Quality Man, complete. I was pushing, to try and get words on paper. And then I kind of got to 64,000 words, and I kind of looked around and I was like, I think I'm done. And then I was kind of caught in this weird in-between where I was reading through it, trying to catch errors before it went to my critique partner. Don't know how successful that was because I had a conversation with him this morning, and he was like, oh, those first chapters, I'm catching stuff. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, anyway, so far so good with that. I don't really know what he thinks. I haven't had a long conversation about it. It was just a text message. So we're kind of waiting to hear back what he thinks of this draft. And so in the meantime, once I sent that off, I did another pass of The Go-Between Girl, which is my historical fiction novel, an alternate history of the Roe versus Wade decision, which is currently in the query trenches. And I wanted to keep that novel fresh in my mind in case, someone wants to talk to me about it. And it's not really good if you can't remember what you've written in the novel you've meant to have written. What tangent was I on? Anyway, so I did a read through of that and got it a bit fresher in my head. And then that was pretty much the whole month. So the totals, the stats were 8,000. I'm looking right at the number and I can't read it for some reason. 8,075 words. And that was over 4.5 hours to get that word count. And then a kind of I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 hours reading through the draft. Hang on, did I note that down? Let's look, because I will totally tell you the wrong thing. Oh, okay, no. So I spent, this is testing my division by 60 skills. I don't know whether I should pause the video and do my math and then come back to you. I think I might do that. Okay, We will resume in a second. Okay, we are back and I have confirmed the numbers. So that 8,000 words was done in about 8 hours. And then I did about 4.5 hours reading through the whole draft. And then my pass of the Go-Between Girl, it's difficult because I think because I already have hours listed on the page and I was kind of adding to them, but I think it was about 2.5 hours I spent reading that. So yeah, you can do the math on the total number of hours spent on writing activities. But yeah, it kind of, I feel a bit detached, almost like a bit projectless, I guess, because obviously I'm waiting for the edits of High Quality Man to come back and I'm waiting to hear about that. And while I'm waiting to hear about that, I know the best thing I can do is to start something new. But this is kind of going into my June, so spoilers for my June wrap up in a month. But I kind of picked up this project that I had written 10,000 words in before I ever started the Go-Between Girl. So I started the Go-Between Girl in 2024. So way back before that, straight after I had finalized my first novel, I wrote I think it was a little bit under 10,000 words of something. And so I picked that up and all I've started doing is working out whether it's viable, like whether I can, make it into something, or whether it has just lie forever forgotten in the drawer of remnants of projects abandoned. But in figuring that out, it's kind of this hard position of you don't want to throw away something if there's something there, but I'm not really sure, as you go through and you use up novel ideas, my first novel, I was really, it was my baby. I was infinitely passionate about everything about it. It was, sole focus, couldn't have put it down if I tried. Couldn't have written another book if I tried. And then the Go-Between Girl was a little bit more oh, okay, I'm doing this, and yes, I'm passionate about it, but I don't think it's going to be the best book I ever write. I don't think, it's the most important story I've ever told. All those kind of precious things you think about the first book kind of go away, and it's just another book. And even doing that again with the third book, as I have done with High Quality Man, the first draft, the same thing applies. Yes, you feel passionate about it. Yes, it is a baby. It is, something you're bringing into the world, but it's not, you can kind of take it or leave it. You could write this, you could write something else. And that's kind of the state I'm in with this fourth project, where I'm kind of well, if it's good, I don't want to abandon that work I've done. But equally, I have other ideas. There are other things I could write. I don't need to, I'm not attached to the idea yet, and I haven't done enough work on it this time since I picked it up again, where I feel the sunk cost, where I feel invested, where I feel, where I'm going to feel remorse if I abandon it. So it's kind of that tricky stage of having to one toe in the water and one toe out of the water and not knowing whether you want to commit or not. But yeah, that is just the problem I'm encountering currently, as I have spent 1 hour working on the project since I picked it up again. But yeah, that is kind of the situation I'm in terms of writing. I think I'm going to go and hunt down some books I read in May and tell you about those next. So stay tuned. Okay, section 2, bookish reflections. There are normally only 2 sections. I don't know why I said section 2. Anyway, my favorite book that I read over the past month was this book, James. And that is quite an achievement because I read 19 books in the month of May. So it's not like it's not competing against anything. There are quite a few books on that list. But this book kind of just blew me away. I haven't read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which I think this novel is kind of loosely in drawing, like a reimagining of, I guess you would say, like taking one character and kind of imagining a history for them and writing them more of a story. But it kind of just, the world felt so rich and kind of vibrant and real, and everything kind of felt so plausible and so like it felt important, like, and I think that's one thing that you really want when you're telling a story is you want that story to feel important to your reader. You want them to see a reason why they're reading it. And that's something I try and imbue, sprinkle over magic pixie dust into all my novels. I want them to feel like the story is important and there's a reason for the characters having these experiences and there's a reason it's being documented. Yeah, so that was my my book club recommendation of the month, I guess. I do have like more short form like videos coming with reviewing every book I read, and that will be coming sometime when I get around to it. I guess, yeah, that is kind of my May reflections. So I guess leave me your comments. Let me know how your May is going, how your own projects are doing. Tell me all the things that are happening, whether you're struggling, whether you're flying high and loving life. And I guess what you can look forward to with June is feedback. And I know I've made videos in the past that are more like editing focused videos where I go through my edits essentially as I'm sitting there. I also, every time I have a thought, pick up the phone and film a little clip. So that content could be making a return. I guess until then, I'll just be vlogging my floundering in between projects and trying to decide what to write next and kind of how that's going and whether I abandon what I've only just started, which doesn't have a title or a project name or anything at the moment and has 1,000 words written so far, 10,000 words previously written, but I took that all out of the draft. But anyway, that is kind of what is headed your way here on the channel, and I love having you here. I appreciate you. Keep being awesome. Okay, bye.